The City of Council Bluffs is reclaiming some lost cash in the Great Iowa Treasure Hunt. State Treasurer Robbie Smith handing Mayor Jill Shudak a check for about $2,500. It was recovered by the state. Smith says about 1 in 7 Iowans could get a check of their own. The state is trying to return millions of dollars in lost cash to their owners. This money can come from abandoned checking accounts, premiums, or rent deposits. Officials estimate they have about $16 million in unclaimed property from Pottawatomie County alone. Smith says a frequent problem that the state has when trying to return lost cash is that people just think it's too good to be true.
People think it's a scam. We are so glad that Iowans are vigilant and keeping out for something like that. Just when it deals with our office, if they have any questions, just call. They call us, and then my staff is there to answer any questions.
Now, Nebraska runs a similar program to the Great Iowa Treasure Hunt. We have both of those searches linked at firstalerts6.com. Officials say it only takes about 30 seconds to check.